Hey guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a little bit confused by the title of this video, I understand. And I'm making this video to sort of clarify that title, although you wouldn't have been confused by the title had I not made this video. So I'm making a Patreon, but it's free. And some of you guys might be confused, or you might just be sick of hearing artists talking about Patreon in general, because it seems like every day more and more artists are going to Patreon or going back to Patreon as a way to crowdfund their practice, I guess. And I totally understand that, and I've been skeptical about having a Patreon for a long time now. But recently I decided to stop posting on DeviantArt. And you guys might be thinking like, DeviantArt, that's pretty archaic. I was still on there, okay? I was still on there. A lot of people still are, but a lot less than there were when I started. And I've been on DeviantArt for almost 9 years now, and my growth on there has completely stagnated. And really the only reason I was still continuing to post on there was so that I could have sort of a gallery where people could go and view large images of all of my work. But the problem is not a lot of people were going to DeviantArt. So that was sort of an issue that I've been battling with for a long time, and I think even the people that were following me on DeviantArt could feel that I wasn't very invested and could feel me kind of drifting away, because I don't really think it shocked anybody that I was leaving. But I knew that I couldn't give the investment that I would have liked to DeviantArt, and I am thankful to DeviantArt for being the place where I got my start and really revolutionized me posting my artwork on the internet. But it just wasn't for me anymore, and I hope that most of you would understand that if you've started following me on DeviantArt. But one of the sort of concerns that was brought up to me was that now I no longer have a social media platform where people can go to view my art in sort of a large web format. And I heard that complaint, and I had been trying to like think of a solution. So that is how we got to Patreon from me leaving DeviantArt. And originally I had considered posting finished artwork on Facebook or Twitter, but their terms of service sort of drove me away, because I did not want to run into an issue where my image that I upload to Facebook or to Twitter was now owned by Facebook or Twitter, and they could use it and market it in any way that they felt necessary, and they could sub-license it. I don't know, that was a red flag for me. You can look more into that if you decide to post your artwork on either of those sites. And I just felt that like Instagram was too much geared towards mobile users, and that's not always ideal for viewing. And plus, like, sometimes people only see what's on their timeline. Like, there's not very many times I go on Instagram and type in a certain person's name to view what they've posted. So Instagram for me, I knew was not an ideal place for people coming from DeviantArt to then view my work, which is why I eventually sort of settled on starting a Patreon. And my biggest thing going into Patreon was that I did not want people to feel like there was a paywall. And that's because I don't feel like there's really anything that I can offer people as patrons that would be worth money. You know, it's stuff that I post virtually everywhere else online for free, so it didn't make sense for people to have to pay to see the same thing, and I didn't ever want to exclude part of my audience because they don't pay me. And so I really wanted to stray away from that, and it was something that was really, really important to me. So the way my Patreon is set up right now is donation only. There are no reward tiers. If you choose to donate, you won't gain anything in addition to your donation. It's really just like, if you like me and you like what I do and you want to support me with that gesture, then that is an option that you can donate. You don't have to donate, and like I said, you will still view all of the posts that I make on Patreon if you choose not to donate. So that is how I am starting my Patreon, like, for free. So you can go to my Patreon right now and view all of the posts that I've made on there. They are all public, and basically the one reward tier that I was required to make in order to set up my profile is, you know, basically just all of the benefits that you'll get whether you pay or not. I kind of just wanted to break down what I'm going to be doing with my Patreon and how I'm going to be treating that platform, as opposed to like my other different social media platforms. So like I said, I am going to be posting all of my finished artwork onto Patreon. That's where you can view all of my Artsy Fartsy Friday images, and they'll be uploaded in high resolution, and you can view them on a larger web format if you choose. But I'm also going to be posting things like work in progress stuff, like behind the scenes kind of sneak peek stuff, which sometimes I do on like Twitter and Instagram too, but I will also be putting that onto Patreon, so that will all be in one place. And then I'm also going to be uploading visual aids that I've created for my tutorials that I do on YouTube, and that's really kind of the one difference that's going to be on Patreon and not really on any of my other platforms, because if you don't like to consume video content, then you wouldn't have really seen my tutorial or those visual aids. And sometimes people just like to have the visual aids in addition to the video, so you can, you know, put them in your folder on your computer or print them out, and that way you can reference them at a later date. So that's also one of the main reasons I'm going to be using Patreon, is I'm going to upload all of the visual aids that I've sort of collected, and just some examples of that. I'm going to be uploading the Copic dupes swatches that I did. I'm going to be uploading like my colorless blender techniques visual aid, and a lot of the visual aids from like my Copic chat videos as well. And if there's something specific that you would like to see on there that is not currently up, let me know and I will get right on that. So yeah, and one of the big reasons that I didn't offer reward tiers at this time, you know, aside from me just feeling like I don't really have anything that I would offer, you know, I don't really like to do commissions that much, and you could just get prints from my online store and they're relatively cheap, so I didn't really feel like that made sense, was just because I don't really have time right now. I just started my graduate program this last week, and I know that it's going to be consuming a lot of my time, and I just don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm having to juggle more than I can handle. And I know that for a lot of artists that do Patreon, it's a lot of work, and I respect people that do it, and I'm not ruling it out for the future. I just don't see that being the right fit for me right now. So that is why I am not doing reward tiers right now, where you can't pay to get more. Basically, that's what I mean by donation only. If you choose to pay, you don't gain any more access than somebody who doesn't choose to pay. And I'm putting it out there like that to almost make it seem like it's not appealing, because I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to trick you guys, or like, I don't know, spin this in a certain way. It is what it is. If you like me and you want to support my art, you can donate. Other ways that you can support me are buying things from my online store, and that way you get something for your money if that's the way that you want to go about this. And you know, it's up to you guys. So this is just another option for you guys that you can donate or support me as an artist. But moral support is always appreciated as well, and I don't want you guys to feel pressured to donate in any way to me. So yeah, but some other things that I am looking forward to doing on Patreon are just like little journals that I release, kind of talking about my ideas for the channel or ideas for future artwork, and just kind of like use that as like almost like a newsletter, where I can just regurgitate all of my thoughts for stuff in the future, and then maybe hopefully get some feedback from you guys and some reactions as well. And I even want to do like polls, so if I'm in between doing 2 ideas for a video that week, I can, you know, put a poll out there and you guys can help me decide. And I've done polls on Twitter before too. I guess we'll see how many people frequent the Patreon page first before I really rely on those polls, because, you know, if I post a poll to Patreon and then nobody votes, I'm gonna post the same poll to Twitter. That way I can like get a response and get an answer. But I think right now I have the polls set up as like a goal. So if I reach a certain number of patrons where I feel like there would maybe be enough people responding to the polls, that's when I'll start doing the polls. And then I also have a patron goal for Discord, and the patron goal just means the number of people pledging each month. So if you pledge to me, if you guys don't know, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, but Patreon is like a monthly pledge thing. So if you were to donate to me, you could donate like $1 a month and you would be billed monthly for that. So if I had a certain number of monthly patrons, then I would like opt to do this Discord again, because I don't want to like start the Discord right away unless there's like a demand for it. So it's not like I'm holding that money over your head or anything like that. It's just that like I want to know that there's a demand for that, and it won't be exclusive only to the people that donate. It'll be for everybody through who visits the Patreon page, which, I mean, the Discord link will be public on the Patreon page, but I just, you know, like, I don't know, I want you guys to know that like this is not about me begging you for money, and this is not about me trying to like trick you into paying $1 a month. Like, it's only, you know, like 19 cents a day or whatever it is. I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm not trying to be like an infomercial or anything like that. Obviously support is always greatly appreciated, but it is never required, and I am so happy to just have the amount of moral support that I do across all of my social media platforms. But I thought that Patreon would, number one, be a good way to supplement me no longer posting on DeviantArt and having a good platform to post my finished artwork on and post those high resolution images and make it easy for people to go, you know, search under the Artsy Fartsy Friday tag and then view all of my finished artwork, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like that works pretty well. I feel like that I like that format. It's very similar to a lot of blogs, which makes sense, and I like that it also gives me a place to post all of my visual aids and tutorials. So you could go on there and click on the tutorials tag, and that would bring up all of that stuff. So I'm still obviously kind of like polishing it and making it work, and if obviously there's any recommendations on how you think I could improve it, let me know, and I will be happy to, you know, accommodate those suggestions. And then the last thing that I want to do in this video is to cut to a clip of me sort of navigating the page for you, so you can just sort of see a breakdown of the Patreon page. So when you first visit the Patreon page, you will of course see a very similar obnoxious yellow banner with my name on it. You'll see my icon, which is the same icon I use on all of my social media. And you can see there's kind of 3 tabs right below the Amanda Elise Art is Creating Artwork tagline, and you can see overview, posts, and community. And if you were for any reason interested in just viewing all of my recent posts, you could click on the posts tab and just scroll down. That would show you all of the posts I've made recently in order. But if you wanted to hone in on your search a little bit more, you could go to the various number of tags. I have featured tags here, and I have my just regular tags that I put on my posts. So it's a lot like Tumblr, and it's a lot like, you know, a lot of blogs that I'm sure you guys are familiar with. So if you're looking for something specific, this is the easiest way to navigate. You can also filter your search by the month. If there's something that you know I posted during a certain time period, that would be a good way to search as well. Community just allows, like, I think people that have donated to make posts, but that's really not something that I am focusing on very much right now. You can see in the About section all of the sort of details about why I'm doing this, and then just sort of the layout of how this is going to work. And again, I can't emphasize this enough that it is donation only. Here on the left, you can see a couple of the goals that I have. The first one being for the polls, and then the second one being for the Discord. And then lastly, if you go to the right, you can see under the rewards tab, titled donation, which is like I have to put a minimum of $1. If you opt to donate, you can put in a custom amount, and then of course you can cancel your monthly donation at any time. But you can see it just kind of breaks down all of the details of what I'm going to be posting on here and sort of just give you some expectations from me. And of course, just a final note, all of the posts that I make on Patreon will have a watermark, and that is just for my protection. And one other thing that I want to quickly mention and just implore you guys to not do is to steal my artwork, because I understand that on Patreon there are going to be things that you guys will want to download and save to your desktop, and I know you guys know how to do that in the way that like you're not supposed to, where you can just save it to your computer and like no one will ever know kind of thing. And that's totally fine that you guys do that with the visual aid resources and like tutorial references and things like that. I just ask you not to repost them or claim them as your own. If you do repost them, please just tag me and link back to this Patreon page or to my YouTube channel. And with the artwork, please do not repost it. Please do not try and remove the watermark. Please do not steal the artwork or alter it in any way. Claim it as your own, obviously. And I would even say don't even post it to your page and like tag me in it, because I feel like if people want to see my art, they should go to my pages, not other people's pages. So I hope you guys understand that. And that's really the last thing that I wanted to say in this video, and really the only caution that I had for doing Patreon was like, well, I hope people don't just like download my art and post it wherever they want. And that really goes for all of my platforms, but especially for this platform, because I feel like it's just a little bit more likely to happen. So I just implore you guys, please don't be jerks. But that is it for today's video. I thank you guys so much for watching, and if you choose to support me on Patreon, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do appreciate it. And just go check out the Patreon page, because you might find some things that you are interested in. And within all of the visual aid resources that I post, I do link back to the video I made that had that resource. So it's really just kind of a good hub for all of the things that I do on the internet, and that's what I want it to be right now. It may change in the future, but I think that this is gonna be how it is for a while, and hopefully you guys like it. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later, and take care. Bye!